Hello, lovely people. Welcome to my channel. My name is Eunice. In this video, we'll be learning how to make this beautiful Agbada kaftan, which is also known as Babariga in Hausa language. This is really beautiful and it has pleats on the shoulders. It has a single bold pleat on each side of the shoulders and it is open here at the side, so you need to wear it with a camisole and a leggings or a camisole with trouser, and it also has a V neckline with mandarin collar, popularly known as bishop collar. I hope this is something you're interested in learning. If this is it, make sure to keep on watching till the end. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please click on the subscribe button to subscribe and ensure to put on your notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video. Subscription is free, so it's your way of supporting my channel. I'll be
Thank you.
making use of these 3 yards of fabric for this project, and this is a Georgette fabric. It comes in length 60 inches. So to fold our fabric, I'm going to fold widthwise first. And to determine the width of this Agbada kaftan, I took the measurement from the center back of my client to the desired sleeve length, and that gave me 20 inches. I'll be adding 6 inches to that measurement because of the pleat we're going to have at the shoulder. So 6 plus 20, that's 26, plus hemming allowance of 1 inch at the side, so that's a total of 27 inches. So here I folded my 27 inches and this is the width. And then the next thing I'm going to do is to fold the length of my fabric, and I'm using exactly my 3 yards to fold the length into two, so that's a total of 54 inches. Okay, that's it. So this is 54 inches. So this part that is facing me is the center front and center back, while this other side is the side, both side front and side back. So the first thing I'm going to do is to mark the neck width of 2.5 inches. This kaftan is not going to have a shoulder slant because it will not have a shoulder joining. So I marked the neck width of 2.5 inches and then a neck depth of half inch for the back. Remember, my fabric is folded into four, so we are drafting for both front and back. So this is our neck depth of half inch, and then I'll go ahead and mark a neck depth of 2.5 inches for the front. I'll also connect it with my chalk like this. Next, I'm going to mark half of the shoulder measurement here at this starting point, that's this folded part. I mark half of the shoulder measurement. So from this shoulder measurement, I'm going to mark that 6 inches I said I'll be using to create our pleat. So as you can see, I've marked 6 inches. I'll get the midpoint of 6 inches, which is 3 inches. So after marking this point, I'll go ahead and cut out the back neckline first. So I'll be starting with the back neckline. I'm going to cut it out. Then I'm going to separate the front from the back since we are cutting both front and back together. So I'll separate it so that I can cut the front neckline now alone. So can you see that the back is on this side and the front is on the other side? So I'll just open it up like this. So for the front, I'll be creating a V neckline. From the neck depth, I came down by 2.5 inches. Then I'm going to use my curved ruler to connect it to the neckline. So you can see how it just blends into the neckline. Then I'll go ahead and cut out the shape I have here. So you can see that our V neckline is not just a perfect V. It has this rounded up part and then the V just goes down. Next, I'll go ahead and slash the center front open. This is because we're going to have a joining at the center front. So having slashed it open, at that 2.5 inches mark I came down, I'm going ahead to notch this point. So from this point I notch, we're going to stitch all the way down to the hem. So having done that, the next thing I'm going to do now is to mark where we're going to have our pleats. Already I marked half of the shoulder measurement and then I went ahead to mark 6 inches. I got the midpoint of our 6 inches. So at this midpoint, that's where our pleat is going to fold. So from the shoulder line, I'm going to mark 15 inches downwards, and this will stop a little under the bust of my client. And I'm going to also mark the same thing on the other side, 15 inches downwards. So to create the pleats, I'm going to fold my fabric to the right side. Can you see? This is the wrong side of my fabric. I'll fold my fabric to stop exactly at the middle of that 3 inches mark I have there, which is the middle of our 6 inches. Okay, so I'm just going to iron it down so that we have our crease line, and that's exactly the center where the pleat is supposed to be. So now this is the right side of my fabric because the pleat is going to be on the right side. So I haven't marked that point, and you see I'm going ahead to remark the 3 inches because it is folded into two now, so that's 3 inches. When it's open is 6 inches, and then I went ahead to still mark my 15 inches downwards on both sides. And then I'm going to use my straight ruler to connect the points using my broken lines, as you can see. So I'm marking 15 inches. So I'll go ahead and stitch on this 3 inches mark here. And you see, so that we can have the pleats hanging like this. So I'll stitch on the from the middle all the way down to the 15 inches. I'll do the same thing on the other side also. So can you see I have my pleat on this side now, and I also have my pleat on this side. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to place the fabric right side facing right side for us to create, that's to stitch the center front. Already you can see that we have a notch there, so and that's my 2.5 inches. So this part where I have this notch, I'm just going ahead to reconfirm the to notch it properly so that I can stitch on exactly half inch. So I'm going to turn them facing right side facing each other on the front, center front here, and then I'll take this to my sewing machine and stitch on half inch all the way down to the hem, and then I'll also weave that center front in order not to leave it rough, and then I'll come back and show us the next thing we're going to be doing. Okay, I'm done stitching the center front of our kaftan. But this is what I did. I came down from that 2.5 inches mark I already marked. Remember I said I was coming down by 2.5 inches. I had to increase this a little. This is so that the head can easily pass. I realized that that was too small for the head to pass through. So I had to come down by extra 2 inches. So 2.5 plus 2, that's 4 inches. And then plus the neckline we have of 2.5 inches. So that's 7 inches in total. So can you see the opening I have here? So I started stitching away from my 4.5 inches. Okay, this is so that the head can easily pass. So this is what we have. So for this side now, that's the side that is open, I'm going to bring in my hemming gum so that we can press down the seam allowance we have there at the side. This is just to keep it down and neat. So my hemming gum is 1 inch in size. So I'm just going to divide it into two so that I can have half inch. All I need is just a small hemming gum that I'll be using to tape down. That's to keep down the neckline area. So having divided my hemming gum into two, I'm just going to place it underneath the seam allowance to keep the seam allowance in place. Okay, that's very close to the neckline. And just watch carefully what I'm doing. All I need is just on top at this place where I came down by 4.5 inches. So I'm going to bring in my pressing iron and give it a very nice press so that it sits really well. So after pressing the neckline, this is what we have. You can see our V neckline is coming out really pretty. So now the next thing we're going to do is to create the collar. And to create the collar, I'll take the measurement I have on the neck width. So folding the neckline into two, I'm going to measure what I have here. So having measured it, this is what I have. I have 6.5 inches. Okay, and this is on fold, so that means it is 13 inches in all. 6.5 times 2 because it is on fold. So I'll bring in my fabric. First, I'm going to fold lengthwise, and I'm going to fold. Here I have 3.5 inches. This is about 3.5 inches in length. And then I'll go ahead and mark 13 inches plus 1. Remember I measured 6.5. So 6.5 on fold, when you multiply by 2, that's 13 inches. I'll add 1 inch to that measurement. So that will give me 14 inches. That's for my seam allowance. So the 14 inches is the width I have here. So I folded it into 2. When you fold 14 into 2, you're going to have 7 inches. Okay. So the folded part is going to be our center back, while this open part is going to be the center front. Can you see? So at the center front part, I will go in by 1 inch, go up rather by 1 inch. And then placing my tape here, I'll get the midpoint of this 7 inches, which is 3.5. I'll use my armhole curve to connect the points like this. Okay. So now I have a curved base. So from this curved base, I'm going to go up and mark 2 inches, which is the length of my collar. So I'll mark 2 inches, following the shape, following this curved base I have here, marking 2 inches upwards. Okay. So now you can see that's 2 inches. So you notice that from the midpoint where I have that 3.5, the other side is straight. And then after the 3.5, we have that curve. So I'm just going to use my armhole curve to connect the points like this. So now at the open part, which is the center front, I'll come in by half of an inch to create a curve. So this curve is optional. You can leave it straight or you create a curve. So I just use my free hand to create a small, nice curve around there. So I'll go ahead and cut out this base, and then I'm going to cut the upper part of the collar. So you can see that. So this is what our collar looks like. So I'll just slash open this part that is not open. Can you see? So I'll cut it open. So I have two pieces. One is going to serve as the lining and the other will serve as the main collar. So I'm going to iron my gum stay to this collar, and then I'll show us the next thing to do. Okay, so I'm done ironing gum stay to my collar, and I used the lightweight gum stay. I ironed it on both sides of the collar. So I picked one of the collar now, and this one I picked is going to serve as the main fabric. The other one is going to serve as the lining. So I'm ironing half inch upwards from the base, that's from the down part. I'm ironing half inch upwards. And like I said, this is going to be the main collar. The other will serve as the lining. So after ironing this half inch upwards, I'm going to place the both collars right side facing right side. So now you can see that after folding up half inch, the second one that I didn't fold is longer by that half inch. Okay, so I place my lining right side facing right side, and then I'm marking the curved parts. You want to make sure that if you have this curve, you want this curve to come out really fine and sharp. You don't want one side to be different from the other, so it is better to mark it so that you follow the marking when you are stitching. So I'm done stitching the collar. I went ahead to trim out my excess fabric at the edge, which is my excess seam allowance at the edge, and then I went ahead to notch the collar. And then you can see I turned it out to the right side and I've given it a very nice press. So here I folded the collar into two and I notched the center, which is going to be the center back. And then here is our kaftan. So I folded into two and I also notched the center back. So I'm going to place this collar on the wrong side of the gown. That's using the part I didn't fold inwards. That's the part of the collar I didn't fold half inch. So I'm pinning that part to the wrong side of the gown. Take note of what I'm doing. I'm pinning it first to the wrong side of the gown so that we can now top stitch it on the right side of the gown. And the part I'm pinning is the part that I didn't fold half inch inwards. Okay. So if you cut your collar correctly, everything is going to match up. All I did was to add half inch to the measurement, which is my seam allowance, because my neckline measurement was taken accurately. So I'm going to pin the collar to the wrong side, pinning it on the half-inch seam allowance that I didn't fold. Okay, so after pinning, I'm going to take this to my sewing machine and then sew with 1/2 inch. I'm going to sew exactly on that seam allowance that I didn't fold. Okay, so I'm going to stitch it all the way from one side to the other, and then I'm going to flip the collar to the right side and then top stitch it. It is really simple. Just watch carefully what I'm doing. You'll understand. So after stitching, I'm just going to turn the collar to the right side and then I'll top stitch it. And this is what our collar looks like after top stitching. Can you see that it's really sitting beautiful? It is on the table and it is sitting really well. And you see, this is what we have. So you can see I top stitched on the right side. Okay, so it's time for us to close up the sides. So to close up the side, I'm going to turn this outfit to the wrong side. That's right side facing right side now. That's the wrong side. I'll make sure to fold it well so that all the points align. And then I'll come down from the shoulder and mark on 38 inches. 38 inches is the knee of my client. So if you want this to be higher, if you don't want it to get to the knee point, feel free to go up a bit, maybe by extra 5 or 6, 7 inches, depending on your height. But this is topping on the knee of my client, which is 38 inches. So I'm going to mark at that 38 inches. So from this 38 inches, I'm going to stitch downwards on 1 inch. Can you see? I'm creating a mark on 38 inches. I'm going to stitch downwards on 1 inch. I'll repeat the same thing on the other side. Then I'll go ahead and weave it. After weaving it, the upper part, I'm not going to leave the upper part, that's the open part. I'm not just going to leave it that way. I'll have to stitch it down, not stitching it close now. Can you see? I'm just going to stitch it down on itself. That's to keep it open. So I'll go and do that and come back and show us. Okay, and then I didn't mention I'm also going to hem the down part. It's a must. I'm just going to do that. So I'm going to stitch on this 1 inch all the way down to the hem. I'll repeat the same thing on the other side and then weave the sides. Just weave it and then fold in my 1 inch seam allowance. Okay, I'll do that and come back and show us the final outcome. And here we are. This is what our Abgada kaftan looks like. You can see it came out really beautiful. It's really simple to make. I hope you enjoyed this video and you learned something from this video. If you gained value from this video, please do not hesitate to subscribe to my channel and do not forget to put on your notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video. Feel free to drop a comment if you have any. If you have questions, feel free to ask. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you in my next video. Bye.